right, so just like I was saying, Stefon Diggs is outside digging again, according to sources and some receipts that we had received along with the entire internet, okay? And so over the weekend, apparently he had attended the Cowboy Carter concert, okay? And he was attending the concert with a few ladies, okay? And so one main lady happened to be a woman who was apparently out here running her mouth saying,
"Y'all, something just exploded on the internet, and if even half of these claims are true, this might be one of the messiest celebrity scandals we've seen all year." Late last night, a podcast clip started spreading like wildfire across social media. The lights were dim, the camera was tight on the host, and the tone was deadly serious. And then came the line that made thousands of viewers stop scrolling instantly. "I didn't come here with rumors. I came with receipts." Those words came from Tasha K, and what she allegedly revealed next sent shockwaves through celebrity gossip circles. According to her claims, the glamorous story the public thought they knew about Stefon Diggs may have been hiding a completely different reality behind the scenes. A reality that allegedly involves secret messages, hidden connections, and a name that instantly turned the drama into a full-blown internet storm. Young Miami. But that wasn't even the most shocking part. Tasha K went on to suggest that Diggs' private life may have been far more complicated than anyone realized, claiming insiders had been whispering about secret relationships, quiet meetups, and messages that allegedly reveal a story nobody expected. And then came the emotional twist that changed everything. Because according to these allegations, when Cardi B finally discovered what was happening behind the scenes, the fallout wasn't just a breakup. It was heartbreak. It was betrayal. And it may have triggered a chain reaction that's still shaking social media right now. But here's where things get even darker. Because Tasha K says the DM receipts she claims to have seen could expose a side of the story that the public was never supposed to know about. And if those messages ever fully surface, this scandal might only be getting started.
And that she is, even though she's single, Stefon Diggs is still hers, okay? And she actually put these in posts and stuff like that. And so in the pictures that you are about to see of Stefon Diggs and this woman, apparently she's on the private jet. It's her and her girlfriends. She was allegedly there for Stefon. There was no other dudes but security with Stefon. Apparently he doesn't travel with dudes during the day. He only travels with them at night. According to court documents,
the internet moves fast. 1 minute everything is quiet, and the next, a single clip turns the entire timeline upside down. That's exactly what happened the night a segment from Tasha K's podcast began circulating online. At first, it looked like another typical celebrity gossip discussion. The camera angle was simple. The lighting was low. But the tone in Tasha K's voice immediately felt different. She leaned forward, looked directly into the camera, and said something that instantly caught everyone's attention. "I'm not here to speculate. I'm here to show what people didn't want you to see." Within minutes, the clip began spreading across YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Fans started reposting it, pausing the video frame by frame, trying to understand exactly what she was hinting at. Because the name she brought up next was not one people expected to hear in this story. Stefon Diggs. For months, the internet had been watching Diggs' high-profile connection with Cardi B unfold in headlines and social media posts. From public appearances to rumors of a serious relationship, fans believed they were witnessing another flashy celebrity romance. But according to the claims made during the podcast, that public narrative may have only been one side of the story. Tasha K suggested that behind the polished photos and viral headlines, there may have been another storyline unfolding quietly in the background. And that storyline allegedly involved another major name, Young Miami. As the podcast continued, Tasha K claimed that sources had been quietly talking about messages and interactions that hinted at a deeper connection between Diggs and the City Girls star. According to her, the alleged relationship wasn't something that appeared overnight. She implied it had been building behind the scenes for some time. Then came the moment that truly set the internet on fire. Tasha K mentioned what she described as private DMs and insider conversations that, according to her claims, suggested Diggs and Young Miami had been communicating in ways the public didn't know about. She didn't show everything on screen, but the suggestion alone was enough to ignite massive speculation. Within hours, social media exploded. Fans began digging through old photos, interviews, and past interactions between the two celebrities. Threads started appearing online where people attempted to connect dots that may or may not have existed. Some viewers were convinced the claims had to be exaggerated. Others believed there might be more truth to the situation than anyone initially realized. Jaguar Wright exposes Stefon Diggs' crimes-drugged light-skinned boys.
Him, I guess, allegedly making a pass at you.
Right.
Like, how did that go?
We used to do dumb things like when we went to the strip club, we would take the jelly beans, swap the bag out. We put them in the Skittles. He's offering me candy. I'm really thinking it's on something like, man, you trying to play with me? I don't want to do that. Because we've done it before. And now it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Man, give me a piece. So he gives me a piece of the candy. And what happened to me after that was not what would have occurred if I ate Hershey's, I'll tell you that.
What do you think it was?
I mean, from the side effects of what I felt, I would say maybe in the realm of like ecstasy infused.
So you were aroused?
I was definitely stimulated in ways that I'd never been stimulated before. My skin was sensitive to the touch. My eyes are blue. My pupils were so big, my eyes looked black. And I really couldn't explain why I felt that way. My sex drive was through the roof. And I'm trying to really pinpoint, what did I do? Shortly thereafter, we ended up in the car. 2-seater Porsche, just us. And I say that to say it's not a lot of space. He's talking to me about all the girls that he got in the house. Now, mind you, I was just at the house earlier, so it is a boatload of girls at the house. It's Spanish.
But he only left with you.
He left with me. But at the house, it might be 20 girls.
And you said they were all Spanish?
Spanish girls that barely even spoke English. I don't know if he's shipping them in, shipping them out. I don't know. I can't speak. I don't know. So he pulls his thing out and just starts doing his thing. And as he's doing his thing, I'm like, yo, bro, settle down. Like, what the fuck? You that horny? Like, you can't get yourself together till you get in the house? And as he's touching on himself and feeling on himself and like talking through what he's about to do when he walk in the house and how pretty much basically saying how horny and sexually stimulated he is in like street lingo. Pulls his man out, starts to play with himself, and I'm telling him, yo, bro, keep your composure. I'm trying to laugh it off because I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why you put that up? Like, what are you doing? And he reach over to me like, man, come on. And he got his thing in his hand. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? And he's trying to like laugh, and I put that shit up. And he put it up. We get out the car. As we're walking, it's very uncomfortable to talk about. As we're walking toward the door, he put his arm around me and he said, man, come to my room. And he put put his tongue in my ear, like doing some weird shit. Walk into the house, spiral staircase leads directly to his bedroom. He goes up the staircase, I make a right. It's a very long hallway. I speed walk down this hallway, damn near run down this hallway, but not like I'm running for my life. I'm trying to keep things low. I go to the bathroom, I'm trying to process my way out. How the fuck do I get out of here? Clearly this is an overstepping boundary. I've never seen him in this light before, but I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, man, you just gonna have to go out here and fight your way out if you have to.
But the drama didn't stop there. Because halfway through the discussion, Tasha K dropped another claim that pushed the conversation into even more controversial territory. According to what she alleged, whispers had been circulating about Diggs' private life being far more complicated than the public realized. She hinted that insiders had previously linked his name to other unexpected figures in the industry, including controversial online personality Jeffree Star and internet creator Christopher Griffin. Tasha K was careful to frame the claims as information she had heard through sources, but the suggestion alone sent shockwaves through the gossip community. Suddenly, the narrative surrounding Diggs wasn't just about a possible love triangle anymore. It was about a secret life that, according to the podcast, might involve multiple hidden relationships. And that's when the emotional layer of the story began to surface. Because as speculation grew, one name kept appearing in every comment section and discussion thread: Cardi B. According to what Tasha K claimed during the podcast, Cardi had allegedly been aware of certain rumors for a while. Some of the whispers surrounding Diggs' lifestyle had reportedly reached her before. But the alleged involvement of another high-profile woman, especially someone like Young Miami, may have been the moment things changed. If the claims were true, it meant the glamorous relationship the public had been watching might have been under pressure long before fans ever realized it. And as the clip continued circulating online, one question kept repeating across thousands of comments. Was this just another exaggerated internet rumor? Or was Tasha K about to reveal something that could completely reshape the story everyone thought they understood? Because according to her final words in that clip, the real receipts hadn't even been fully shown yet.
Okay, y'all, I'm busy, but I gotta say one thing. This rat bitch, right? This supposed to be a mother brim, and she threatening to snitch on some motherfucking body because she don't have anything to say about it. That was a loser. Wait, no, I got two things to say. So then she said, I'm going to tell everybody nation what you said, what he said. No, not just that. Trying to spread fake tea about when she stood her illiterate in front of millions of people and said she stands for pro-choice. Drops bomb. I can't take the dumb serious. I can't take the... Show me typing those messages, or I'm calling the police on your ass for defamation of character, because I'm sick of it. And I will be back. And I'm never getting off.
By the time the podcast clip finished circulating online, the internet had already picked its sides. Some viewers dismissed the entire thing as another wild celebrity rumor. Others, however, believed something bigger might be hiding beneath the surface. Because the way the story was unfolding, it didn't feel random. It felt layered. And that's exactly what made the situation so explosive. Within hours, blogs, gossip pages, and YouTube channels began dissecting every second of the podcast episode. Screenshots of the clip flooded timelines. Reaction videos appeared almost instantly. Some creators slowed down the footage, zooming in on the laptop beside Tasha K, claiming they could see blurred-out messages on the screen. Whether those claims were real or just internet imagination, the speculation was already out of control. But then Tasha K reportedly doubled down on her allegations. According to what she claimed during the discussion, the situation surrounding Stefon Diggs wasn't simply about a quiet friendship or casual interaction with young Miami. The way she described it, the connection allegedly went much deeper than fans initially believed. She suggested that insiders had been watching the situation unfold privately for months. Not weeks, months. And according to those whispers, the relationship dynamics around Diggs were far more complicated than the public narrative suggested. Tasha K described it as a life split between two worlds. One version that the cameras captured, the polished, celebrity relationship filled with headlines and speculation. And another version that, according to her claims, allegedly existed behind closed doors. A hidden circle of conversations, private meetups, and messages that never appeared in public. She paused during the podcast and said something that immediately sent viewers into another frenzy. Some of these messages, if they ever come out completely, people are going to understand why certain things ended the way they did. The statement alone was enough to spark thousands of new theories online. Because by that point, another name had already entered the conversation in a serious way. Cardi B. For months, fans had watched rumors swirl around her personal life. Between career pressures, motherhood, and constant public attention, her relationships had always been under a microscope. But according to the claims being discussed in the podcast, Cardi may have been dealing with far more behind the scenes than fans realized. Tasha K alleged that Cardi had already heard whispers about Diggs' lifestyle before the situation escalated publicly. Rumors about private connections. Speculation about who he was spending time with. And according to those claims, Cardi initially chose to ignore most of it. Not because she didn't hear the rumors, but because, as Tasha K described it, she allegedly believed many of them were simply internet noise. Celebrities hear rumors about themselves every single day, Tasha K explained during the episode. If you reacted to every one of them, you'd lose your mind. For a while, that strategy reportedly worked. The gossip stayed contained online. The headlines faded, and the relationship appeared stable on the surface. But then, according to the story being told in the podcast, one particular detail allegedly changed everything. The moment young Miami's name entered the situation in a serious way. According to Tasha K's claims, sources suggested that Cardi eventually became aware that Diggs might have been spending more time with Miami than anyone initially realized. Not just friendly interactions, but repeated communication, private conversations, and what insiders allegedly described as constant direct messages. That, according to the narrative presented in the podcast, was when the tension behind the scenes reportedly began to build. Tasha K claimed Cardi allegedly confronted Diggs at some point after hearing the rumors. At first, the situation reportedly didn't explode immediately. Instead, according to what she described, Cardi allegedly issued a warning.
And I got receipts for days. Nasty one. I even got ashy news.
Not publicly, privately. A moment where the message was clear. If the rumors were true, things needed to stop. And for a brief period, it seemed like the warning may have worked. The speculation slowed down. The internet moved on to other celebrity drama. But according to the claims discussed in the podcast, the quiet didn't last. Because allegedly, new information eventually surfaced that suggested the situation had not ended. And when that happened, the emotional impact was reportedly immediate. Tasha K described the moment as a breaking point. The point where trust allegedly collapsed. Because according to her claims, learning about one rumor is one thing. But discovering that the situation may have continued behind your back is something entirely different. She paused again during the podcast and said something that made the entire conversation feel heavier. People think celebrity breakups are about headlines, she said. But sometimes, it's about betrayal. And if the allegations she was discussing were even partially accurate, then the glamorous love story the public believed they were watching may have already been falling apart long before anyone realized it. But what made the situation even more intense was the final detail she hinted at before ending that part of the discussion. Because according to Tasha K, the messages she had allegedly seen were only a small portion of what insiders were talking about. And if those full conversations ever surfaced publicly, the entire story surrounding Stefon Diggs, Young Miami, and Cardi B might look completely different from the version the world thought it knew.
Don't in they motherfucking phone. I bet it ain't no glass object up my I bet it ain't a room full of and bitches. Stripper. Get your crazy on stripper. Talk about somebody's foods.
By the time the podcast episode ended, the internet was already in full investigation mode. Clips from the discussion had spread everywhere. Reaction channels were breaking down every statement. Fans were zooming into screenshots, analyzing timelines, comparing old social media posts, and asking one question over and over again. How much of the story was actually true? Because the more people replayed Tasha K's words, the more complicated the situation seemed. And the detail that kept resurfacing was the one she mentioned near the end of the podcast: the DMs. According to her claims, the alleged messages between Stefon Diggs and Young Miami were not just casual conversations. She suggested they hinted at a level of closeness that many fans never expected. She didn't reveal everything on camera, but she implied enough to make people wonder what might still be hidden.
Spousal support? Yeah. Absolutely. I would be paid. I do. I mean, why not? She used him and his family to become somebody, and now she's trying to make fools out of all of them. Like, she don't know that the reason why she can't put together no real album is because Takeoff is dead, because they was, he was the writing machine for the whole family, and the Migos, they put her on, you know what I'm saying? And if she want to go and run off and act like she don't owe these people nothing, this is a stripper going wild.
Is Cardi being petty for getting Offset's favorite player? Getting with Offset's favorite player?
Yeah. And the truth is I don't even believe that thing is real. And not because of the whole BBL thing. He's like going the Shannon Sharp way of proving his machismo, and that don't look good. Like, everybody says that he smashes way too many women. He's got multiple women pregnant at one time. He can't seem to really settle down with anybody. And usually when handsome men spend all of their time trying to prove that they're that virile, it's because they're down.
Tasha K leaned toward the microphone and said something that immediately sent comment sections into chaos. People think the story started when the public noticed something, but according to what I've heard, it started long before anyone was watching. That statement alone pushed the narrative into an even darker direction. Because if the timeline she suggested was accurate, it meant the alleged connection between Diggs and Miami may have been unfolding quietly while the public believed a completely different story. And that's when the conversation returned to the emotional center of the entire situation: Cardi B. Throughout the podcast, Tasha K repeatedly emphasized that celebrity relationships often look glamorous on the outside, while complicated realities exist behind the scenes. According to the story she was telling, Cardi may have been trying to maintain stability while dealing with rumors that kept resurfacing around her relationship. At first, those whispers were easy to dismiss. Social media rumors come and go every day. But when the same names start appearing again and again, ignoring them becomes harder. Tasha K claimed that at some point, Cardi allegedly began hearing consistent reports about Diggs' connection with Young Miami. Not random gossip, but repeated mentions from different circles. The type of rumors that start making people uncomfortable. And according to what she described, that's when the emotional tension behind the scenes reportedly intensified. Because when trust becomes uncertain, every new detail suddenly feels heavier. Every message, every phone notification, every late night conversation.
And he just like, oh my God, I can't wait. He pull his shit out. I tell him to pack it up. We get ourselves together. We get out the car. I'm trying to laugh it off out of awkwardness, that and the third. As we walk into the house, he put his arm around me. When he put his arm around me, he stuck his tongue in my ear. So I'm gonna come to my room.
Hold on now. Time out. Why did you?
That's why I paused.
Why didn't you tell him when he got his cock out in a Porsche? You should have said, "Relax, Damon. I'm a boy."
Tasha K paused during the podcast and made another statement that many viewers replayed multiple times. Sometimes the hardest part isn't finding out the truth, she said. It's realizing the truth might have been happening right in front of you. For many fans watching the clip, that line alone made the situation feel far more personal than typical celebrity gossip. Because if the allegations were even partially accurate, the story wasn't just about a rumored love triangle anymore. It was about betrayal and emotional fallout. And that's where the two tragedies surrounding the situation began to emerge. The first tragedy was the collapse of trust. When relationships exist in the spotlight, every rumor becomes amplified. Every disagreement becomes a headline. And when private pain becomes public entertainment, the emotional weight can be overwhelming. Tasha K suggested that the pressure surrounding the situation may have pushed everything to a breaking point. Not just because of the alleged relationships, but because of the constant public scrutiny. The second tragedy was the internet itself. Because once a story like this begins spreading, it develops a life of its own. People speculate, clips get edited, conversations get exaggerated, and suddenly a situation that might have once been private becomes a global discussion. By the time the podcast clip reached millions of views, the narrative had already expanded far beyond the original conversation. Some viewers defended Diggs. Others believed the allegations were serious. And many simply wanted to see the receipts Tasha K claimed to have seen. But the most suspenseful moment came near the very end of the episode. Because after discussing the rumors, the alleged messages, and the emotional fallout, Tasha K looked directly at the camera and delivered one final statement. Right now people are only hearing pieces of the story, she said. But if the full conversations ever come out, a lot of people are going to look at this situation very differently. For a few seconds, the room went completely quiet. No music, no commentary, just the weight of what she had implied. And as the video faded out, the internet was left with more questions than answers. Because if those alleged DMs ever actually surface, this story might not just be another celebrity rumor. It could become one of the most talked about scandals the internet has seen in a long time.